Have you ever wondered what would happen if Sasuke never left the Hidden Leaf Village? Would things end up for better if Sasuke never joined Orochimaru, or would things turn out to be completely worse? Well, in today's video, I'm going to look at just that scenario. Now, I want to be completely upfront with you guys about a couple of things. The first is I'm not going to be taking into account what we saw in the Naruto Shippuden filler arc, because that filler arc had a lot of retcons and a lot of plot holes to the story, so I'm not going to be taking any of that into consideration. Also, the second thing and the most important thing is I know some of you guys are probably asking yourself, didn't I already see a version of this video? The answer to that is yes. If you want to see the original video with all of the original edits and the original story, and you should be seeing the link on the screen right now, but you'll have to type that into your browser or however you're watching this video. So with that being said, let's just dive right into this edition of Naruto What If. In order to look at what would happen if Sasuke never left Konoha, we have to look at the very reason he left in the first place. Sasuke saw Naruto's rapid progress and his growing bonds with Team 7 as being weighted balls and chains that were keeping him from attaining the power that he needed to kill Itachi. Sasuke was so convinced of all of this that he was willing to give his body to Orochimaru, all in the name of avenging his clan. Before he left, there were a few signs that Sasuke could have been stopped from leaving Konoha. Kakashi's talk with him did reach Sasuke, but it was his interaction with the Sound 4 a few hours later that caused Sasuke to be thrown back into the path of power. In my opinion, the best chance for Sasuke not to leave would be during his farewell with Sakura. It can be strongly argued that Sakura could have won Sasuke over if she would have gave a stronger push and didn't break down crying at the time that she did. Sasuke was in a very emotionally vulnerable place. The right words could have melted the ice around his heart. If this happens, then the series takes a drastic change. Tsunade would learn that the Sound 4 were in the Hidden Leaf Village and had attacked Sasuke. Security would have been beefed up around Sasuke, even though the village was stretched thin when it came to Jonin. I believe that Tsunade would have kept Sasuke under Anbu surveillance, or she would have gone as far as to keep him in the Hokage Tower until she felt that the threat had passed. Originally, Tsunade was only forced to send a team of Genin after the Sound 4 because losing the Sharingan would be a crippling blow to the Hidden Leaf Village that was still trying to recover from Orochimaru's attack that saw the third Hokage die. This also means that Orochimaru, who is very short on time, will be forced to take another body just like he did originally in the manga. The chances of Orochimaru attacking the village are greatly reduced at this point because Konoha is now aware of his plans, and staying in character, Orochimaru wouldn't make the same move twice in such a short period of time. Instead, he would choose to plot until he came up with a plan that he felt very certain could work. Where there appears to be a major change would be the training of Team 7 during the time skip. Naruto still likely goes off to train with Jiraiya. That much we can all agree on, since this would be the best way to keep him away from the Akatsuki. However, Sakura and Sasuke would take on drastically different paths than they did in the original story. When Jiraiya first returned to the village, he and Kakashi agreed that he would take on Naruto's training while Kakashi focused on Sasuke, teaching him to fully master his Sharingan. Sakura would be where a huge change would occur. In the manga version of this story, Kishimoto makes it really clear that Sakura's main resolve to train under Tsunade was so next time that Naruto needed help, she would be there with him when he needed to bring Sasuke back to the village. In the manga version of this story, you see Sakura watching as Naruto has been beat up and injured and is now in the hospital, and then a few panels later she is telling Naruto to wait on her, and then the next page later she's begging Tsunade to train her to use medical ninjutsu. Given how much emphasis Kishimoto placed on Sakura's facial expression as well as the panel placements, I also think you have to take in the quick transition to her begging Tsunade to train her in medical ninjutsu. I think this is why it becomes very clear that her motivation was so she could heal Naruto, and that's why she decided to train with Tsunade, so she would be able to keep Naruto from being injured and thus force kind of increase the chances of Sasuke being brought back to the village. With Sasuke now in the village and Naruto now gone to train with Jiraiya, I do think that Sakura would train to master her own strengths, which according to Data Book 4, which Kishimoto wrote, placed her as a pretty good genjutsu user, which is also something that was alluded to by Kakashi during the Chunin exams, as well as Sasuke early on in the Chunin exams. I could see her putting an insane amount of effort into learning genjutsu as a way to support her teammates. In fact, I could see her learning genjutsu with the same level of resolve that she had when she was training under Tsunade to learn the medical ninjutsu aspect of her training. Meanwhile, Kakashi will work very closely with Sasuke on mastering his Sharingan, in particular making use of the Sharingan's Eye of Insight, which allows for ninjutsu to be copied, which means in the future we could see Sasuke copying ninjutsu using his Sharingan, which isn't something we saw very often in the Naruto story when it came to Sasuke. Also, I believe that Sasuke would go on to make equal or close to equal progress in the lightning style jutsu that he did when he was training with Orochimaru. While Orochimaru is a genius who wanted to learn all aspects of ninjutsu, Kakashi would have a better understanding of how to teach Sasuke to use his Sharingan to use more advanced lightning style jutsu. The drawback to Sasuke staying in the village would mean that he wouldn't have the numerous drugs that were pumped into his body that Orochimaru and Kabuto were giving him. Those drugs greatly enhanced Sasuke's power according to Tsunade, but that doesn't mean Sasuke wouldn't still be a threat in battle. In fact, Sasuke would be even more skilled than he was originally, which is more than enough to make up for his power drop-off. Being in very close proximity of Sasuke could allow for Sakura and Sasuke's relationship to develop more naturally, with Sasuke growing to acknowledge Sakura's progress in a subtle way, save for the times where he sees the need to boost her confidence, like he did in the early portion of the Chunin exams when Sakura was one of the ones who saw through the genjutsu. One downside to all of this is that Sasuke likely does not create his most powerful lightning ninjutsu before you get to the whole Sage's 6 pass power up, which would be his Kirin lightning jutsu. Sasuke remaining in the village also greatly affects the Konoha 12. Shikamaru's character took a drastic leap after his failed mission to bring Sasuke back to the village. Almost losing his comrades led to him being pushed down the path of being a leader and forcing Shikamaru to grow up a lot more. Mentally, while Shikamaru is very sharp and would obviously get sharper as he played shogi with Asuma, this is a moment that was key for his character. And this also means that he won't be the same character that we knew post time skip. Also, the rest of the Sasuke retrieval team wouldn't be faced with a near-death encounter, which means it's very possible they don't take the same steps forward that they did in the original story. However, I do think one very strong exception to all of this would be Neji. I still think that Neji will go on to become a Jonin because that uppercut from hell that Naruto gave him during the Chunin exams played a key role in Neji's development and also changed his interactions with Hinata, since it was at that point that Neji began to take his life into his own hands and moving past thoughts of destiny. I do believe that during the time skip, due to his sharp mind, that Sasuke would go on to become a Jonin as well, especially when you take into consideration how much more skilled Sasuke would be in this scenario. It would be really easy to say that Naruto wouldn't be as driven to train because Sasuke's still in the village. However, given the similarities between Naruto and Jiraiya, I do believe our favorite pervy sage would know the right buttons to push on Naruto. It's for that reason I could see Naruto being just as strong as he was originally, meaning that in this scenario, Naruto would actually be slightly more powerful than Sasuke, but Sasuke would have the edge in terms of skill, especially since it's very likely that Jonin Sasuke would have a third change in chakra nature to his arsenal since he already possessed lightning and fire style. So let me know down in the comment section what change in chakra nature you think is most likely for Sasuke to have during this scenario. Now, the Team 7 bell test would end with Kakashi getting the bells taken a lot faster, since Sasuke and Naruto have a natural connection despite their rivalry, which means it's very possible that Naruto's unpredictable nature and Sasuke's pure talent could catch Kakashi off guard. Just look at what Naruto did with only Sakura helping him. Now imagine what he could do with both Sasuke and Sakura aiding Naruto. Given Naruto and Sasuke are the reincarnates of Ashura and Indra, seeing Naruto's progress could enrage Sasuke. This means it's very possible that Sasuke becomes susceptible to the influence of the curse mark, despite Kakashi sealing it on the Chunin exams, because Kakashi's seal was specifically linked with Sasuke's will, meaning that it was up to Sasuke whether or not this curse mark broke or not. If Sasuke's will wavers, then the curse mark could take over. However, no fight between rivals would occur, since Gaara would still go on to be captured by the Akatsuki. A major change would occur at this point in the timeline. Sakura not training with Tsunade leads to Kankuro dying, since Sakura was the only one who could come up with the antidote that not even Chiyo, someone who was a rival to Tsunade in the past, could come up with to save Kankuro's life. Whatever medic accompanies Team 7 would go on to fail to create the antidote, which means that Kankuro would die in this scenario. Chiyo would likely still go with Team 7 to save Gaara because of her desire to see Sasori. Like she did originally, Chiyo would tell the story of the Jinchuriki, which means that Sasuke would now fully understand why Itachi and the Akatsuki were after Naruto, which is very important to take note of. Sasuke was shown to care for Naruto despite the rivalry, especially when Itachi tried to kidnap Naruto. Sasuke was pushed into a desperate rage, fueled by the thought of beating Itachi, but also of saving his friend Naruto. This part of Sasuke's character would have resurfaced, which is going to be very important going forward. Quickly upon meeting the Itachi doppelganger, once Sasuke's rage is quieted, he would have been the first person to realize that they were fighting an imposter and would go on to make short work of it, and perhaps you could see a scenario where it's Sasuke who kills the doppelganger and not Naruto with that giant Rasengan. Team Guy is likely forced to fight their own doppelgangers, while Team 7 is left to face Deidara and Sasori in the attempt to save Gaara. Sasuke being on this mission leads to a drastic change. Naruto would still rush after Deidara, however Kakashi wouldn't immediately rush after him. Instead, having Sasuke there is a huge game changer. Sasuke would be the one who's given the sealing tag and warned of Naruto sprouting any type of tail and that he needed to use it, and Sasuke would be the one sent after Naruto alongside Sakura. This leads to Kakashi, the unknown medic, and Chiyo fighting against Sasori in an insane battle. This fight would favor Sasori, however, Kakashi's Mangekyo Sharingan opens the door for a surprise win when Kakashi comes through in the clutch. Kakashi wouldn't waste using Kamui very early on in the fight, partially due to the fact that Kamui takes a while to use and Kakashi wouldn't use it on an enemy who he didn't have full intel on, but he would also use a lightning style jutsu to break Sasori's puppet Hiroku, which is where the real fight would begin. The medic accompanying Team 7 would likely be killed off very early on in the fight. Kakashi's Sharingan would allow him to dodge the poison dipped attacks of Sasori, all while he prepared the chakra needed to use a long style lightning range jutsu. Without having to worry about another fighter, like she did when she backed up Sakura, Chiyo will be able to cut loose a lot sooner in this fight, meaning she would use her puppet army a lot sooner in this battle. In the midst of all the chaos, while Chiyo's puppets fight against the 100 puppets of Sasori, Kakashi likely uses a lightning clone to fight Sasori's puppets as he moves into position to use his Kamui to snipe away Sasori's heart. This means that Sasori would never tell them about his spy that is hidden in Orochimaru's ranks, who we all know to be Kabuto. Meanwhile, Deidara would be placed in an extremely unfavorable position. Sasuke has a long-range jutsu that is needed to attack Deidara, and Team 7 could coordinate their attacks to get Gaara's dead body back. While Naruto would be enraged, Sasuke would know the right buttons to calm him down, even if it's just calling Naruto a loser. Using lightning-style jutsu to attack from a distance, Sasuke could create a diversion, while Sakura uses her genjutsu to throw Deidara off as much as possible for Sakura's character, all while Naruto positions himself to attack once Sasuke manages to get Deidara's lower body to the ground, and then Naruto will be able to attack Deidara. With Sasori now being defeated, this will place Deidara in an even worse situation because backup of Kakashi and Chiyo would arrive to back up Team 7, and if Deidara isn't stupid enough to try and fight against all of these people, then I could see Deidara retreating, giving up Gaara's body. However, if he does try to fight, then I could see Deidara being killed off in this scenario. Meanwhile, I could see Chiyo giving up her life to save Gaara due to her interactions with Naruto earlier on in the story. No intel on Orochimaru presents a major change in the timeline. However, given how resourceful Danzo is, I could see him still using Sai as a way to get inside of Orochimaru's ranks. Sai would still be instructed to give Orochimaru a copy of the Anbu Register, which Orochimaru would gladly accept. It's the Anbu Register after all. However, Sai would be instructed to wait until Orochimaru's body was weakened to the point he needed a new host, and then Sai would be instructed to strike. However, given Orochimaru still had enough strength to fight Sasuke for a very brief period of time, I could see Orochimaru killing Sai very easily. Orochimaru would then know that Danzo had betrayed him, but having the names of the Anbu as well as the personal Hokage guards opens up the door for him to attack Konoha once again, this time in a more surgical way. The next few arcs would see some major changes. Seeing Sasuke use a third change in chakra nature will be enough for Naruto to push to undergo a change in chakra nature training of his own. Due to the threat of the QB chakra, I do believe that Kakashi will request to have Yamato being brought out of the Anbu to assist him in this training. Seeing Naruto use shadow clones to split a waterfall in half using basic wind chakra will be enough to make Sasuke's anger boil. This anger would continue to build when Sasuke sees Naruto use the Rasen Shuriken to defeat Kakuzu, reminding him of how Naruto took down Gaara all the way back in the Chunin exams. The only small change that would occur in this arc would be when Naruto arrives, and instead of using the Hurricane Vortex Jutsu that he used in conjunction with Yamato, I believe that Naruto and Sasuke would combine for an insane fire and wind style jutsu when they made their entrance in this part in the fight. If Orochimaru hadn't made a surgical strike on Konoha during those months between the Kazekage rescue arc and the Akatsuki suppression arc, better known as the Hidan and Kakuzu arc, then I believe he would do so at this point in the story. Having the Anbu registry and the names of the personal Hokage Anbu allows for Orochimaru to have those ninja killed off and impersonated by his men, much in the same way that Orochimaru killed the 4th Kazekage and pretended to be him during the Chunin exams. Knowing Tsunade's vices, mainly her drinking habit, Orochimaru would likely attempt to strike when Tsunade finished her paperwork and was well into her drinking. Catching Tsunade off guard would give Orochimaru and his aides, who likely includes Kabuto, an opportunity to fight, but this would set the stage for one hell of a battle. Despite Orochimaru being in a new body, the moment Tsunade decided to use her strength of 100 jutsu that activates when she breaks the strength of 100 seal, like she did in the battle against Madara, then Orochimaru and Kabuto would be in for a world of hurt. Meanwhile, already being inside of Konoha, the Sound 4 would likely attempt to ambush Sasuke yet again in the hopes of giving Orochimaru his body at a later point in the story, though Sasuke would be 3 years older and more skilled than he was before, already knowing some of the fighting styles of the Sound 4, as well as now having fully mastered his Sharingan, which he didn't have when he first fought them. I could see Sasuke doing quite well against the Sound 4. The battle of Sasuke versus the Sound 4 tips even more in Sasuke's favor if Naruto and Sakura happen to be in the vicinity, leading to Sasuke having backup in this fight. In this scenario, the Sound 4 are likely defeated and Orochimaru will be forced to retreat, given he'd underestimated Tsunade's power. The Sound 4 would likely be interrogated, and once no information is willingly given, the Anbu would have to use their interrogation tactics, likely with someone from the Yamanaka clan, getting more intel on Orochimaru. Orochimaru needed to be dealt with, especially after a second attack on Konoha in less than 3 years. However, Sasuke would have just cause to hunt down Itachi, who was part of the Akatsuki. Given the situation, I don't see Tsunade granting this request, but I do do still see Sasuke versus Itachi still happening. Itachi would likely send a clone to approach Sasuke with the message to meet him for their final battle, which would be enough for Sasuke to abandon whatever mission he's on, regardless as to who is on his team. Given Sasuke isn't a threat to Konoha, Shisui's eye would never be given to Naruto. Meanwhile, Danzo would attempt to use Orochimaru's attacks on the Anbu and on Tsunade as a way to remove her from power from Hokage, which would ultimately fail. Also, Jiraiya would still leave the village with the intention of discovering information about Pain, which would ultimately lead to his death. The Itachi vs Sasuke fight would happen a lot differently than it did in the original story. Sasuke would have to rely more on his Kage Genkai and wouldn't use the curse mark power as much in this fight. However, given Itachi would fight with the intention of removing the curse mark, I do think that Itachi would have a countermeasure in place to have the curse mark removed from Sasuke's body, even if Sasuke didn't use up so much chakra that he succumbed to his influence. At some point during this fight, Itachi would clutch his chest before dying, leaving Sasuke just as shocked as he was when Itachi first died. I do believe it will be here that Obito would make his move to capture Sasuke, especially since there aren't any Konoha ninja nearby. It would be here that Sasuke would go on to learn the truth about Itachi, which would cause Sasuke's Mangekyo to awaken. Since Sasuke wouldn't have been informed about Team Taka and wouldn't have formed Team Taka, this would lead to Sasuke and Kisame teaming up to hunt down Killer B. Kisame being there means that Killer B would have a much harder time fighting and wouldn't be able to escape using the same method he did originally, while Sasuke carried off the clone of a fake B. Samehada would be able to detect such a ruse. If this were indeed to happen, due to Kisame fighting in the way that he does, he would likely attract more attention, but in this scenario, the duo of Sasuke with the Mangekyo and Kisame who can siphon off chakra, Killer B would fall to this duo, which means that the Cloud Ninja would indeed see Sasuke carrying off the half-dead body of their Jinchuriki. Meanwhile, after already being on edge after Sasuke mysteriously abandoning the village during a mission, I believe that Naruto will be mentally shattered once he learns of Jiraiya's death. However, just as he did originally, Naruto would go on to learn Sage Mode. Pain's invasion would occur just as usual. However, during his conversation with Nagato, Naruto would learn that Sasuke had joined the Akatsuki, which would further be confirmed when the Raikage orders a 5 Kage summit, naming Sasuke and Kisame as members of the Akatsuki. Then the 5 Kage summit would proceed as usual. However, Sasuke would likely be aided by Kisame, which would be really awesome to see. 2 rogue ninja, who were the focus of the summit, would march into the venue, killing the numerous samurai and attacking the 5 Kage, which would include the informal 6 Hokage being Danzo. Kisame being there also means that the Mizukage and Ao would likely attempt to take him down, which would be a pretty interesting fight to see, especially if Chojuro steps in to help. However, the end results would all be the same. Obito would have to step in to save both men from death at some point, and after declaring the 4th Great Ninja War, this time with the intention of having the Kyuubi's Jinchuriki, Naruto Uzumaki handed over to the Akatsuki. Sasuke would then go on to kill Danzo. Killer B being dead means that Naruto would have a lot of trouble mastering the Nine Tails. Killer B wouldn't be there to guide him if Naruto made it past the Waterfall of Truth, though it is really possible that Kushina's chakra would still be active, only this time it would have activated much sooner. Assuming that this does happen, then Naruto would still be at a huge disadvantage. He would have the Kyuubi chakra mode, which is really important, but he wouldn't know how to make a tail beast bomb, and some of the smaller tips that B showed him about handling the Kyuubi's chakra and about being a perfect Jinchuriki. Meanwhile, the 4th Great Ninja War would be a lot different than it was in the original story. Instead of Kabuto joining into the war effort, it would be Orochimaru himself. Getting possession of Sasuke's body would be quite the incentive for him to join Obito, only with the intention of double-crossing him later on. I also believe that Orochimaru would work some kind of way to get Yamato's body, which would be used to strengthen the White Zetsu, and the members of Team Taka would would likely be pulled from their hideouts to help in the effort of the 4th Great Ninja War, which will lead to some amazing fights. This would mean you would see an uncontrollable Jugo going on a slaughter fest as he runs through numerous ninja before finally being brought down. You would see Kisame and you would see Suigetsu going on a rampage alongside the reanimated 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist, and likely being killed off during Kakashi's rampage, where he vowed to show everyone why he was called the man who copied over 1,000 ninjutsu. Sakura not being a medical ninja means that she would be on the battlefield, which means that even more ninja would have died, since Sakura was credited with saving a lot of lives during the war. By the time that Naruto decides to leave for the battlefield, the Ninja Alliance would be in much worse shape. But I do believe that Naruto would still reach the battlefield, because he would go on to blitz the Raikage in such a way that Tsunade would go on to compare his speed to being like that of a Yellow Flash. Where a major problem arises is in the battle with Naruto versus Nagato and Itachi. Naruto wouldn't have Shisui's eye inside of him, and the Koto Matsukami wouldn't be programmed to go off at the sight of Itachi's eyes, which, once to restate, isn't gonna matter in the scenario because Shisui's eye would never have been given to Naruto. This means that Naruto would have to fight both Nagato and Itachi, who will be under the complete control of Kabuto once he uses the talismans for the Edo Tensei. Naruto would have knowledge of Nagato's jutsu, but fighting off all of the animal paths and engaging in battle with Itachi could lead to Naruto having his guard down, and Nagato in theory could sneak up on Naruto and attempt to rip out his soul using the human path, but again, this is in theory only. It's really important to remember that this was actually Kabuto's plan in the manga, to rip out Naruto's soul and have his body brought back to Obito, where it could be placed inside of him. Also, the Kyuubi could be extracted, and so Kabuto could make off with the body of Sasuke in exchange for helping Obito. Given Naruto's unpredictable nature, I could see him learning to use the chakra arms, which gives him some hope of keeping his soul from being ripped out, because that's how he avoided doing so in the manga when he originally fought against Itachi and Nagato with the help of Killer B. However, defeating a bloodlusted Edo Tensei Itachi and Nagato would be of extremely high difficulty when you take in the nature of the Edo Tensei, and also the fact that Naruto doesn't have any sealing ninjutsu. His only hope would be to take the battle to an area where there are other ninja and have someone seal away both of these dojutsu users, though it should be noted that Itachi and Nagato were purposely positioned by Kabuto to be far away from the battlefield, which was noted by Itachi when he stated that they had been walking since sunset of the previous day. Assuming that they are sealed away, then things would get even trickier. Sasuke would likely still betray Obito. His Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan should level the playing field in terms of power with Naruto, who up until this point in the story would have been slightly stronger than Sasuke. Sasuke would never meet Itachi, and most importantly, he would never know of the scroll that releases the dead Hokage from the belly of the Reaper Death Seal. Never speaking to Hashirama would mean that Sasuke would still be in the darkness, though he would still honor his pact with Naruto to not harm a Konoha ninja until he killed Naruto in battle. Sasuke would then head to the battlefield with the intention of finding the real Naruto, snuffing out any shadow clones that he engaged with. Also, he could enter into battle with Naruto, which was his plan before he ran into Itachi in the manga. This would mean that the Edo Tensei would never be released. It is somewhat debatable if Orochimaru summons the dead body of Madara, which I do believe he would have, since Zetsu would go out of his way to allow Orochimaru to find his body, just like he did with Kabuto. If this doesn't happen, then due to the dire situation of the alliance, the 5 Kage would enter into the battlefield and proceed to be wiped out by Obito's 6 paths with the Jinchuriki. After all, the Kage have no answer for 6 Biju bombs being fired off all at once if they're fighting all alone. Sasuke would likely arrive at Naruto's location, thus causing the two to enter into the fated battle, which, to restate, was Sasuke's intention before he met Edo Itachi. If Madara does get revived before before any of this happens, then things get even more interesting. Sasuke would have been the one who wanted to defeat Naruto, which means that we could see him turn against Obito if Obito attempted to step in the way. However, given Obito stated he wanted to see Sasuke and Naruto fight, if only for his own enjoyment, I could also see him moving to join Madara while Sasuke went on to fight Naruto, weakening him enough for Obito to warp away and to seal Naruto using the Geto statue if this does happen. The battle between Naruto and Sasuke would be one of epic madness, though it wouldn't be anything compared to that of Madara and Obito's 6 paths fighting against the Kage, which would be an absolute slaughterfest. Madara alone could wipe out the Kage, but stacking the deck this heavily against them would prove to be too much, and each of the Kage would die a brutal death, which most likely will be the death by 6 Biju bombs, though I could also see Madara taking the time to kill Tsunade personally, since she would be the granddaughter of Hashirama. Now this is where things get really crazy. Given Kakashi and Guy were already on their way to the battlefield, I could see them increasing their urgency to arrive once they saw the giant Biju bomb explosion that killed the Kage. While Guy and Kakashi rushed to reach the battlefield, Madara and Obito would stand in the background watching Naruto versus Sasuke, with Madara taking a very keen interest in Sasuke as Madara asked Obito questions about the young Uchiha fighting the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. Kakashi and Guy would arrive on the battlefield. Kakashi would see the battle with Naruto versus Sasuke, but he would also be alarmed at the sight of the masked man who claimed to be Madara and of the Edo Tensei who he knew to be Madara Uchiha. I do believe that Obito would make it a point to fight Kakashi alone, playing his mind games in the process, slowly destroying Kakashi's resolve. At some point, I believe Obito would even allow Kakashi to shatter his mask. Obito knew about the seal that Madara placed on his heart and would have wanted to be in a position where he could manipulate Kakashi into striking his heart, also he could have that seal being removed. I do believe that Obito would find a way to warp both of them into his Kamui dimension, and once Kakashi had the seal removed, I believe that Obito would go on to take advantage of an emotionally drained Kakashi and he would kill him. A large part of the reason for this is Kakashi regained his full will to fight after hearing Naruto speak up on his behalf as Obito was tearing him down. Without Naruto there to give him an excerpt from the Talk no Jutsu Bible straight from verse 3 chapter 4 of the Book of Ichiraku, Kakashi would likely be killed off in the fight, especially if Obito's 6 paths are there in the Kamui dimension with them. And perhaps what will be the most epic part of this what if, you would see Guy staring down Obito, Madara, and Obito's 6 paths Jinchurikis, and this would be enough to force Guy to open the 8th gate, causing the red steam to float around his body. Staring down the 6 Biju under Obito's control, Guy will unleash a heroic assault using the sheer air pressure of his attacks to knock away the Biju bombs that are fired at him, causing explosions to go off in the distance and to shake the battlefield. Eventually, he will make his way through all of the Biju and attempt to fight Madara, though it should be worth noting that the 8th gate runs out extremely fast, and the anime made it appear as if the 8th gate lasted a lot longer than it did. In the manga, using the 8th gate is almost something that goes over very instantly. Guy would die a very heroic death, likely falling just as the Shinobi Alliance arrives at this scene, which would be very interesting to see Rock Lee's reaction. While Obito used the 6 paths to fight against the Ninja Alliance, Madara will watch very closely as Naruto versus Sasuke continued to rage on. Eventually, as Naruto's chakra began to wane, Madara would sense the moment to move and to have Naruto sealed away. It's very important to note that Naruto lost access to Kurama's power after fighting several battles using shadow clones and then fighting against Obito and Madara. In fact, in chapter 611, we see Naruto reach his limit using the power of the Kyuubi, which was noted by Obito and Madara, being that the Jinchuriki of the 8 tails and the 9 tails had temporarily run out of chakra, and that's what led to Sakura having to restore Naruto's power when she healed him. It's very possible that Madara uses a wood-style jutsu to take advantage of Naruto's weakened state, while the Kyuubi took several minutes that were required to gather the chakra for him. It would be here, I believe, that Madara would use the Geto statue that he would summon and extract the Kyuubi from Naruto in this process. If Sasuke were to insist on fighting back with the intention of being the one who kills Naruto, Madara would simply use a wood clone to hold off Sasuke, which would be more than enough for this version of Sasuke in this battle. Just as Obito finished off the Shinobi Alliance, Naruto would have the Kyuubi fully extracted from his body. Due to him being part Uzumaki, Naruto's life force would allow him to exist for a short period of time after extraction, since it was stated numerous times that unlike other Jinchuriki who have a Biju extracted, and Uzumaki doesn't die right away after extraction, but instead can manage to live for a short period of time. Having not received the chakra of the 8 tails and the 1 tails, Naruto would not go on to meet the Sage of 6 Paths. Sasuke would eventually find himself being killed off by Madara before the 10 tails is revived. It would be here that Madara would use Zetsu to force Obito to revive him using the Rini Rebirth Jutsu, and then he would lead to Kage's revival. Now I know a lot of you guys are probably asking yourself, what the hell happened? Why did this video take such a dark turn? For the purposes of this video, as well as the other what ifs that I've done, I've stripped away plot armor, and that's to be more of a fair and balanced approach with you guys, because a lot of you guys have requested that. So as always guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video guys. Have an awesome day.